Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for tuning into Live with Andy. I am your host, Andy Dybala, coming at you from Lubbock, West Texas. Patrick Mahomes, he played college ball here in Lubbock at Texas Tech University, and he's playing quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs this upcoming Super Bowl Sunday. And I think my personal prediction, I think Kansas City is going to pull it off, and he's going to get his second Super Bowl crown here in his young career. But the Eagles, they do got a pretty good team coming in here, so it's going to be quite the battle. Speaking of battles, that's what I'm personally doing here with a deep state on my show, and mainstream media as well. They like to present the deep state's narratives to the public in a certain manner, in a certain way during certain big events. Like Super Bowls, the Grammys. Yeah, the Grammys sponsored by Pfizer. They had some satanic rituals going on. And we got the big Super Bowl this weekend. So when you guys are watching this thing, billions, I think a billion people watch this thing every year. Millions of dollars are spent in advertising for Pepsi, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Doritos, Red Bull, all Apple, all the big corporations out there spend millions of dollars in ads for the Super Bowl, and that does include pharmaceutical companies. So I want you guys to pay attention while you're watching the big game this weekend. Don't just sit there for Rihanna's halftime shows. Just sit there on your hands. Pay attention. We had the Grammys this past weekend with Sam Smith, and had some like weird satanic rituals going on at the end of the whole thing. They had a bunch of rappers sitting around the Last Supper table, like just chanting "God did it," and it was just like a weird little performance. So pay attention to Rihanna's performance this week, and I'm not going to get too much into that stuff. But during the ads, pay attention to how many COVID-19 commercials there are, how many vaccine commercials there are as well, and to see how the big pharmaceutical companies, big pharma, for short, how they're using these big events to kind of inundate our minds. Inundate the sheeple into getting the vaccine. And I got a couple examples to showcase you here, but give me 1 second. Let me say hello to the chat real quick. We got Dave Fitz, aloha from Bellevue, Washington. What's going on, Dave Fitz? Super Bowl. What are the Las Vegas odds that a couple of players collapse from a coincidence? So we are going to be getting into that. Damar Hamlin did make a speech at the NFL Awards show last night. So all the conspiracy theorists out there on Twitter and the internet that are saying they're CGI and Damar Hamlin, he's a clone. That's not really him cheering at the game. Let's start laying the rumors to rest. The man is alive. The man is real, and I will show that a little bit later on here in my, I guess, presentation, my show here this evening. But yeah, I hope no players collapse of a vax attack. That would be very unfortunate. I've had some personal issues with that myself, and it's not a something fun to deal with. So I hope that doesn't happen during the Super Bowl on national television. Let alone, I'm just trying to enjoy the game for once. That's why it's like it sucks when I watch the big game and they inundate you with vaccine commercials. They inundate you with like BLM commercials. What else? What else they got? They do climate change commercials. It's like they just try to hit you with all the left wing progressive agendas during the commercials of these big events. So just pay attention while you're watching these things. Just like have a little tabulator in your head, like 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's like 15 commercials relating to the left wing agenda, and it's like how many towards the right? There will be some big trucks, burning some oil, burning some gas. But other than that, I don't think there's going to be any like Donald Trump ads for the Super Bowl or Ron DeSantis hanging out with high school girls pictures going on. There might be. I'm not sure. If that was the one thing Donald Trump might pay for an ad for right now, it would be that. But just to give you a little example, some Dave Fitz just mentioned that there might be a coincidence during the big game, and I'm talking about all the instances during the commercials where they try to inundate you with the left wing agenda, with the big pharma agenda during the pandemic. And here's like a little snippet from NFL Network. This is like a thing Roger Goodell and the NFL did, I guess, a couple Super Bowls ago during the pandemic. They gave 7,500 free tickets to the Super Bowl, to the big game, to vaccinated healthcare workers only. And if you weren't vaxxed in the healthcare industry, they're keeping track of that shit. And if you apply, it's like, no, Roger Goodell says you can't go. You got to be vaccinated. And you see this with the hospitals, like the nurses. They just wanted to keep their job. A lot of people around the world just wanted to keep their job, but their companies were forcing the vax on them. And you saw this like big mainstream narrative pushing that agenda as well. And here's just a little snippet of what Roger Goodell did during the Super Bowl in 2021.
I'd like to take a moment to recognize the real MVPs of this past year. They've been the dedicated frontline healthcare workers, of course, who put their lives and continue to do so at risk, and we owe them our ongoing gratitude. So the NFL is going to use the Super Bowl, the biggest stage we have, the most watched event of the entire year, to honor and thank them. Commissioner Goodell had a surprise for a few frontline health workers yesterday. Take a look.
Hello, everybody. Sorry for crashing your meeting. I am the son of a nurse, and all of you have a very special place in my heart. I've seen the work that you do. My mom used to talk about it all the time. It's just extraordinary work, and we owe you our ongoing gratitude and can't thank you enough. So I know everyone in your area is a little excited about an event that's coming in a few weeks, the Super Bowl, I hope. The reason that I wanted to get on this call for a minute to thank you all is I wanted to tell you that we want your team to be there. So if you're able to swing it, I want to invite each member of your team, the 5 Waldermere unit, to be our guest at the Super Bowl. I don't know if that means you accept or not.
Yes. We accept. Oh my gosh.
You will be among thousands of vaccinated healthcare workers that are going to be receiving Super Bowl tickets over the next couple of weeks. You're the first ones to get that offer. And we can't thank you enough. And we hope that this program will be a small way to celebrate you, honor you, and most importantly, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So there you have Roger Goodell. I hope you guys could all hear the audio there. Roger Goodell participating in the big pharma propaganda, giving free tickets to only vaccinated healthcare workers around the country. And this is like a message. They want people sitting on the couch, some normal average shows, oh, they're only giving tickets to the vaccinated healthcare workers. I'm sitting there at my job. I work for FedEx or something like that, and they're starting to push this agenda that I need to get vaccinated myself. Roger Goodell says it's okay. Some people are that dumb, but they got a bunch of nurses on here as well, kind of pushing that propaganda, pushing that propaganda to get the vaccine and get the jab. And, you know, unfortunately, one of the things that happened on the field a couple of weeks ago, someone had a little attack, and that person is Damar Hamlin. And just to let you conspiracy theorists know out there, and this is like a super clone that DARPA and the DoD is working on, some just like crazy super clone that they put together in the past month. Damar Hamlin is alive, and he is well, and that is a good thing. I know some of you people are like mad about this, so they want him to be dead and the conspiracies to be true. But no, we want the people, as many Americans, as many people around the world that did take the vaccine and bought the propaganda to survive. And, you know, you see Roger Goodell pushing the healthcare workers that are vaccinated to get Super Bowl tickets. They did the same thing to the players in the NFL. It was like, if you want to play in the NFL, you have to get vaccinated. And there was one guy, Cole Beasley, that stood up, and he got like shadow banned from the NFL, and no one would pick him up until this past year. Tom Brady finally was like, I need some weapons. Come over here, Cole Beasley. My guys are falling apart. But here's a little video. Damar Hamlin at the NFL Awards show a couple nights ago.
First, I would like to just thank God for even being here. Every day, I am amazed that my experiences could encourage so many others across the country and even across the world. Encourage to pray, encourage to spread love, and encourage to keep fighting no matter the circumstances. Sudden cardiac arrest was nothing I would have ever chosen to be a part of my story, but that's because sometimes our own visions are too small, even when we think we are seeing the bigger picture. My vision was about playing in the NFL and being the best player that I could be, but God's plan was to have a purpose greater than any game in this world. My entire life, I felt like God was using me to give others hope. And now with the new set of circumstances, I can only say he's doing what he's always done. I have a long journey ahead, a journey full of unknowns and a journey full of milestones, but it's a lot easier to face your fears when you know your purpose. My third night awake in the hospital, I met an ICU doctor. His name was Yusuf. He told me he had a similar experience. He showed me he was okay, and that meant so much to me. There was so much uncertainty at the time, and just him coming to me, showing that I could live a normal life again, it meant so much to me in the moment. So I want to give a big thank you to him, and a special thank you to everyone on this stage for everything they did for me. And thank you everyone around the country and around the world who prayed for me and hoped for me. The journey will continue.
So there you go. That was a fantastic speech, and thank God Damar Hamlin did make it, and he is still alive and still walking, and hopefully he can continue living his dream and playing in the NFL one day. And hopefully all of you vaccinated people out there can, I spilled some water on my laptop, now I'm worried. All you vaccinated people out there can live your dreams as well in the future, and your health doesn't inhibit that process, because that would suck. Part of living in America is living the American dream, reaching your potential, reaching your fullest. And if you get that taken away because of a pandemic, and the company you work for forcing you to get a vaccine that might cause some myocarditis, you get hit in the heart, and your heart stops, that would suck to have your American dream ruined for that situation. And kind of segue into something. I don't know why I'm playing this on my stream here, but I was doing a video the other day about satanic rituals during the Grammys, and I spoke of like the same thing happening during NFL halftime performances. Now, I'm not going to show any tonight. I was supposed to the other night, but my show went a little long. But someone who did have some, satanic stuff during her halftime performance, Lady Gaga, is recently in the news for, like a gross, disgusting act that happened at her concert. And I'm going to show this real quick. But if you remember my video the other day, she did some work with Marina Abramovich, the lady who did can't think of spirit cooking for the DNC and does spirit cooking in her private performances. Her and Lady Gaga got together and did some weird like spiritual vibration type videos. And that's where I think all these satanic performances are stemming from, is this Marina Abramovich's like art infiltrating Hollywood in general. She works with like Jay-Z, Beyonce, Harry Styles, and all this stuff. They all like have connections to her. But the other day, it may have been last night actually, Lady Gaga was at her concert, and this happened. And I don't know what type of art this is, but it is just downright disgusting. But she's having sorry, I was trying to click on the screen. I couldn't figure out. There's a lady here that, starts vomiting. I'll just play it. Now, I don't know what type of weird, goofy shit that is, but the reason I'm showing this is like, A, because she had her connections with the NFL and her satanic performances. I'm not going to continue putting that on the screen. It kind of just makes me want to throw up. But she was sitting there drumming for all my podcast. I forgot I have podcast fans and they don't know what's going on. So Lady Gaga was sitting there drumming, and a girl was standing over her, like shoving her fingers down her throat, like just vomiting all over Lady Gaga as she's jamming out on the drums to, I guess, one of her favorite songs. And yeah, I don't know what type of Marina Abramovich spirit cooking public display of art that is. It's absolutely disgusting in my mind. And if I see Lady Gaga at an event near me, I'm going to choose not to go myself. But I just want to showcase the fact that Lady Gaga is a bit of a hypocrite. Keep in mind that she's having people vomit on her on stage. But, this would happen. But she is actually like one of the many celebrities in Hollywood that spoke about getting the COVID-19 vaccine. So she's coming out to the public, to the people, and going, you need to worry about public health. You need to go out there and get the COVID-19 vaccine. And this is just an Instagram post of hers where she bragged about being like once vaccinated and twice jabbed. And it does get actually a little bit more hypocritical when it comes to Lady Gaga. So when she has her concerts, she requires everyone in attendance to be vaccinated against COVID-19. So they have to have the jab and they have to wear a mask. And, this article was published on August 3rd, 2021. So just keep that in, like, just picture her, you know, I just showed the video of her drumming on stage and a girl shoving her fingers down her throat and vomiting all over Lady Gaga's chest. You know, like, I don't know the health repercussions from that exactly, but there's probably some diseases you could pass from one another, and there's definitely some chemical dye mixed in there to make it all green. But at the same time, they have the camera pointing at Lady Gaga getting vomited on stage. If you just spun it 180 degrees around, I can't do it because I'm not in my computer chair right now. If you just spun that camera 180 degrees around, everyone in the audience would be sitting there with a mask on like they're at a Gallagher concert waiting for a watermelon to be smashed or someone to throw up all over them. And they also got like Band-Aids on their arm. It's probably like a mark of pride at a Lady Gaga concert. Like, you get a Band-Aid for how many vaccines and boosters you got. So if you got like 3 Band-Aids, you got 1 vax and two boosters and so on, you know. So if you got the 5 total, it's like you're king of the Gagas. And so, like, just think about how amazing that is. Like the distance you have to put between your like art and having someone throw up on you on stage and like your public self, where you're like advocating for like, oh, people should get the vaccine because we're trying to save the planet. It's like the two things definitely aren't meshing up Gaga, and she definitely needs to kind of start crossing her I's and dotting her T's, if you know what I mean. But her connections actually to COVID-19 and the vaccines do kind of run a little bit deeper. Here she is actually at a digital meeting with the World Health Organization and Tedros himself. She actually did a public concert advocating for the vaccine and the jab. So the lady who's currently getting thrown up on stage a couple years ago is with Tedros and the WHO worrying about public.
It is a love letter to our doctors, a love letter to our nurses and other healthcare professionals.
Tomorrow, WHO is joining forces with many of the world's leading musicians, comedians, and humanitarians for the One World Together at Home, virtual, global, special. This is the result of a close collaboration with my good friend Hugh Evans from Global Citizens and the inspirational Lady Gaga to bring entertainment, joy, and hope. This is an opportunity to express our solidarity with frontline health workers and to mobilize philanthropists, the private sector, and governments to support the COVID-19.
So you got Lady Gaga just worrying about another terrorist. Imagine that. Yeah, Tedros, another terrorist in power and in charge. That's kind of what happens when the CIA is running things. Unfortunately, imagine that is you get these little CIA puppets running all your NGOs, all your World Health Organizations, all your countries. It's kind of the byproduct of that. But yeah, you got Tedros and the World Health Organization teaming up with Lady Gaga to push vaccines and push masks, and she's doing it. She's forcing all the attendees at her concerts to follow suit, and at the same time, she's just getting thrown up on stage. So it's just next time, you guys, there's a big public health agenda, and you see all these celebrities from around the world to start pushing vaccines and pushing masks, just know like who they really are behind closed doors, and politicians too. I don't want to not mention Gavin Newsom, telling everyone to stay in home for Christmas and Thanksgiving, and then at the same time get caught eating dinner at, what is that, Nobu or whatever that like super expensive restaurant was. So yeah, politicians definitely were partaking in the hypocritical actions as well. So, all right, give me one moment here, see what else I got on the schedule. Oh, we got Mr. John Fetterman himself. I know you guys who are in the know, but John Fetterman himself is in the hospital. He had some issues of lightheadedness, and he had to get some treatments. And there's like a big talk right now of like, who's going to take over this guy's spot if his health isn't up to par. And it was like, that's a big question coming into the election. And I just want to say, there's one point I'm going to make on this. I actually got two because there's another little article. But my one main point I'm going to make on this is shame on us. As people, citizens of the United States, shame on us as Republicans, shame on us as Democrats, shame on us as independents for not having any better candidates than Dr. Goddamn Oz and John Fetterman. The troll with the bad heart. This is like me in like 15 years. I'm a big guy with a bad heart. If I ever run for office, I'm gonna like pass out going to the park one more time. They're like, he's unfit, and I'm gonna be like, no, I can do it. And then as soon as I get in, it's gonna be like, beep, beep, like down goes Andy. And unfortunately, the same thing happened to Fetterman. But shame on all of us for not putting some better political candidates up, especially in the state of Pennsylvania. It's a big state. There's a lot of intelligent people. You got Philadelphia, you got Pittsburgh, you got University of Penn, University of Pittsburgh. There's a lot going on. And there should be a lot better candidates than Fetterman and Dr. Oz. So we get what we paid for, but it is probably a good thing. That leads me to my next thing about Fetterman. I did touch on this a while back, but it is probably, just to let you guys know, if there's a paywall behind anything, go to archive.today and you can get around the news paywall. But John Fetterman is using like AI and assistive technology and cameras in his office, and he has like a teleprompter telling him what to say, like his speeches when he's having meetings. Even meetings in his office are like laid out for him already. So he was like the ultimate puppet senator, and it's probably a good thing if we can get any type of replacement in there, because there's just like, it's talking about the CIA installing like puppet Tedros and puppet CIA people all around the world in positions of power. It's like he was one in the Senate, and they're just monitoring every move he made and telling him what to say. So let's hope we actually can move. Let's hope he's in good health, but let's also hope that we can move on as a country from some disasters we made during the midterms. Who knows what's going on? But all right, let me say hello to the chat. El Wiener, his clone won't work. Who's El Wiener? What a name, though. You should put an E in front of your L, and it would make it a lot more funny. Unless you're like Anthony Weiner's sister. If you're Laura Weiner, reveal yourself now. If Laura Weiner's in my chat, if you're Anthony Weiner's sister, reveal yourself. I'll send you a link so you can come live on the show. I got some questions for you. You know, we got questions about Hunter Biden's laptop. We can get back on the Anthony Weiner trail. So, you know, we got Bridget Ashmore in the chat. Dave Fitz is still there. Aaron Adler. Look up Lady Gaga's mom as UN ambassador. Clown World. Lady, I did not know that one. Let's see what you got, Aaron. Lady Gaga's mom, UN ambassador. Ooh. Ooh, little Aaron dropping bombs. Thank you, Aaron. By the way, Aaron, come on the show. Get a haircut and come on the show. I love it. Regularly. You know what I mean? The Andy and Aaron team. Man. But here you got Lady Gaga's mom, Cynthia Germata. That's Gaga's real last name. If you guys thought her actual last name is Gaga, I have no idea what to tell you as a human being at this point. Just like walk out your front door, take an Uber to the nearest, tallest bridge, get out of that Uber, and jump off. If you think Gaga is Lady Gaga's actual last name. There's no help for humanity if people actually, couldn't imagine. Sad I'm even going there. But nevertheless, Lady Gaga's mom, Cynthia Germanata, named Goodwill Ambassador for the UN's World Health Organization. So there's your link between Lady Gaga, the pushing of the vaccines at her concert, forcing, everyone in attendance. She's doing big concerts. There's 30,000, 40,000, 20,000 people show up per show. Everyone in attendance has to have the jab, vaccinated, and they have to wear a mask. And she's pushing the jab. She's done commercials, all her Instagram posts after she gets vaccines, and she did a digital concert with Tedros and the World Health Organization. So seeing her mom as a connection to the World Health Organization as a Goodwill Ambassador is not a surprise, but it kind of is. And I would have never guessed that. Who would have thought the Gagas would have been going goo over health? Just thought of that off the top of my head, people. How many people? We got 15. 15 in Rumble right now. What's up, Rumble? What's going on? Thank you for joining. We got more in Rumble than we do YouTube. Who would have thought? It's YouTube dumbing down my algorithm. They might be. So I got so I need to go back to my StreamYard here. What time is it? 33 minutes. I am running long. I actually do have like research and stuff I do that I get into, but I'm trying to kind of switch it up here because like people like my dad, my family and stuff, like watch my shows and they have like no idea what I'm talking about sometimes. So I'm trying to do like some pop culture mix in with like deep state conspiracies. I don't know how else to put it other than that, but that's what I'm trying to do in the beginning of the show. And then at the end of the show, I want to get into some of my research that I've been working on. I put a lot of time and effort into uncovering the deep state's whereabouts and their doings and their movements. I got my microscope out on the internet, just trying to find the hidden clue that will unravel it all. But you never will. because there's a lot of gatekeepers involved, but the process is fun. So sometimes you just got to bear with me through the pop culture, sports stuff if you don't like it so much. But I try to make it fun, and I try to put political spins on it as we go here. So I hope you're enjoying the shows. But here's another one. The Super Bowl Sunday is coming up this weekend. That's kind of why a lot of this stuff is related to the NFL, related to sports. That's where it's all kind of like stemming from, if you couldn't tell at this point. But Russell Wilson, former Super Bowl champion of the Seattle Seahawks. You see him dating a musician there. We've been doing some work on this show, showcasing how musicians are used by the deep state as tools to, condition the public and our minds. MK Ultra. Womp, nom, nom, nom. I am a robot. We're put some oil on it because I'm really the Tin Man. You guys, I'm losing it. This is why I need a co-host, because it's actually tough talking to yourself for an hour plus. It just almost becomes like ramblings of a madman. So just hold on. Sometimes just hold on to the horse. Don't fall off. I'll be your stallion to patriotic freedom. All right. Here's the story. Russell Wilson, former NFL Super Bowl champion, and his musician, wife, Sierra, their foundation has raised millions upon millions of dollars, and only a quarter of it goes to charity. So this leads me to like my little next segment of my show here. I'm gonna showcase like some charities, some popular charities that are out there in the worldwide zeitgeist of foundations and charities, and I'm gonna showcase some of the dirty things that are happening. And the money's not really going where you think it's going a lot of times. And we got we with the NFL kicking off, I'm going to let Russell Wilson kick off our charity segment here. So him and his wife Sierra, their foundations, they're doing some dirty, naughty things. And I'm not going to dig deeper into the article, but Sierra's, I guess, has some family members that work within the charity that are getting paid like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they're pretty much taking the funds as like employee salaries and employee benefits. They get cars and they get paid trips and stuff like that. And like only 20% of the money is actually going to research. Now, this is big news coming out right now. Like if he actually gets in trouble for in this doing, he signed a huge like $240 million like fully guaranteed deal in Denver last year. So if he's having some like issues, some issues with the law, that would be bad for the Broncos, and it's bad for like all the people that were supposed to. Sorry, Surrey went nuts in my ear. But bad for the people that were supposed to benefit from Russell Wilson's charity. And if you guys are in the know in the NFL, Russell Wilson had major struggles this year. He's usually like a top 12 NFL quarterback, and this year he was like probably like last next to Baker Mayfield in like every statistic. He was throwing interceptions, he was getting sacked. And if there's some legal troubles going on behind the scenes with this charity, to me that would explain his troubles on the field. And just let you guys know, just keep track and do some if you're donating your money to any organization, foundation, just like do a little bit of research before you hit that that not accept payment, but finish payment button going to that charity, because you don't always know what your money's going to. And a lot of these things are just like people getting like paid off in secret ways, like Clinton Foundation, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Soros Foundation. You got all these politicians out here in the world. They all got different charities. So a lot of it's just for like big donor secret payoffs. But if you're an actual, like, just your actual average citizen of the world, and you're not like paying Russell Wilson off for some secret thing you guys are partnership you're working on together, like, just do your research. Because this next one I'm going to get into, it was a little bit of an eye opener to me. I knew about one part of their charity kind of being messed up, but I didn't know about this other connection. And for those of you that are podcast listeners, the name of the charity is the Susan G. Komen Cure. Everyone, you see the pink ribbon going around, the cure for breast cancer. I knew the fact that, like, this article is written in 2012. I knew the fact that in the like mid to late 2010s, like 2006 to 2012, not Planned Parenthood, but Susan G. Komen got busted because only 15% of their charitable donations were actually going to like breast cancer research, or like breast scans, or like helping out like people who can't afford to go to this, get the scans at themselves. They'd set up little clinics and everything. And it was like people, it was a big thing. I did the Race for a Cure a bunch of times. My mom had breast cancer, a bunch of my aunts, my grandma have had breast cancer, so I've felt like I was personally connected to this one. This was actually the start of me like getting into, like, just like conspiracy stuff, like what's going on with this thing that I like believed in, and I've ran in, and I like had passion for. Like, only, like, you're telling me like the people that are working the events and the CEOs of the companies are just pretty much just taking most of the money, and only 15% of it is going to research. So that was my first kind of skepticism when it came to these type of organizations, and that includes government as well. So it's like, Susan G. Komen, come on. But today I found out that they actually fund Planned Parenthood, and I don't know if a lot of you guys know this out there. I know a lot of, like, there's a lot of like Republican women that don't believe in supporting abortion, and they've had breast cancer. They've had people around them that have had breast cancer. I got men included. Family members have had breast cancer, and they've donated money to Susan G. Komen. And it was just like an odd little note that I found, that, oh, they're funding Planned Parenthood. So you're taking that money that's supposed to go to breast cancer and breast cancer research and cancer cures, and you're taking that and you're funneling it towards abortion. Now, I know like women's health is kind of like it's under this same women's health umbrella, but it's not the exact same thing. And I think if a lot of people knew this connection, they definitely would not be, hitting that donate button to Susan G. Komen. So it's just it's another one of those charities out there that you kind of need to keep your eye on, and that includes this next one. Now, to tell you the truth, this next one has done a lot of work with veterans, and they've done a lot of good work as well. So it was a little disappointing hearing this because, like, my cousin was actually personally um, positively affected by the Wounded Warrior Project's program. They gave him like a full ride to Duke and UNC, and he's a doctor now. He got injured in the field in Afghanistan. He got shot in the back, and he had a bunch of. They paid for all his like medical bills. They're still helping him out to this day. They paid for his schooling, like the family, like where they lived at the time. They helped out with all that process. So it's like it was tough for me to like just kind of expose them, I guess, because I've seen the work they've done firsthand and the positive attributes it can create in people. You know, especially those that are veterans that are afflicted by the war, and like their top execs, pretty much they all got fired because they were having like lavish spending parties. They're flying first class, taking private jets, you know, just like paying themselves a bunch of money. So you had a bunch of people in America donating money to it. It's a great name, Wounded Warrior. They did do a lot of good work. I'm not saying these charities don't do anything, but there's a lot of side skins going on. A lot of side schemes, just like the government does. So it's just like these. It's odd that these NGOs, these foundations, in our own governments, everyone's just kind of like just skimming off the top a little bit, you know. And everything's supposed to be for a good cause, and it just goes back to the wolves in sheep's clothing. You know, everyone presents themselves. Bah! I'm an innocent little sheep. Bah! I'm here to help you out, but really, they take off the wool, and there's a. Rawr! That was a terrible wolf impression. I got a nice dry mouth, but you get the I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your goddamn house down. That's what they do. And there's a lot of predators, you know, that are preying on our public. And you see the same thing with COVID-19, the World Health Organization. They go like, hey, like, do it for the public health. Like, go get the vax. And meanwhile, big pharma's just cashing in. All these corporate CEOs are cashing in on the back end. Our government officials are cashing in on the stocks. They're all selling stocks. We got these charities, we got the CEOs all just cashing in. Like, you're starting to get the theme here with these organizations. It's just like, how much of our money do you guys want? How much are you guys going to take from us? Till we get pissed, you know? Like, this is why they block us from YouTube, and they block us from Facebook, and they block us from social media. They block us from talking, and they only want the mainstream media narrative. So they don't want all this shit getting out there because they don't want people to get riled up. They don't want their eyes open. Eco Health Alliance. Is Lady Gaga involved with Eco Health Alliance? I'm lost in the chat. I'm lost in the chat. Oh, yeah. Catholic. Didn't even bring that one up. Thank you for pointing it out. I don't even want to. The Catholic charities. Oh, child trafficking, the sex trafficking. It's all disgusting. Yep. I had 90 million views a month. You had 90 million views a month at what? Lori Rose. Super Bowl doesn't even get 90 million views. Don Lemon's never got 90 million views in his life. He wishes. On Facebook, you had 90 million views a month and you got taken off. Call a lawyer. Let's sue him, Lori. I'll personally represent you. I can do some research and find some shit out. Let's go after them. You know, oh, I was doing some research earlier. Let's see if I got, Facebook. What's it called? Oh, Facebook has this program. I'm going off track for 1 second, so don't judge me. Building 8. Facebook has this program with DARPA called Building 8. Let's see if I can find it. You guys get me off track with so much stuff. So here we go. How Facebook failed to break into hardware. It was a failed venture eventually, but they broke up, and like the programs within this Building 8 venture went in a couple different ways. I'm still doing research on it, so don't judge me on my knowledge on it. But this lady right here was Regina Dugan. She was one of the heads at DARPA. And she went over to Facebook after DARPA to start this like portal program. And this is how like Facebook teaming up with DARPA, they would use the like cameras like in your laptop and stuff to like monitor your room. They'd monitor your speech pattern, your voice recognition stuff. And this is how they would like sell you products pretty much. And it wasn't used for that exactly according to DARPA. There was other applications for it, you know, like deep state spying and stuff like that. But it's just, yeah, I don't know how I got onto this. So there's your DARPA Facebook DOD connection, Lori Rose. Little bit of research. All right, but that sucks if you had 90 million viewers. I feel bad for you. And you got taken off Facebook. Even though I'm going to have to do some research if 90 million viewers. I want to see a screenshot, Lori. Nevertheless. All right, getting back to scandalous foundations and charities. Everyone knows. Numero uno, the Clinton Foundation. So I'm not going to dig too much in this because everyone knows kind of their whereabouts. They've had their corruption in Haiti where they accepted a bunch of money. You know, there's an earthquake and a tsunami in Haiti that caused a bunch of problems. The Clintons came in, accepted a bunch of charitable donations, and Haiti didn't really get a lot of that money. And there's the infrastructure that was promised from the Clinton Foundation never got built in their country, and it kind of got set back. So kind of parlay that over to what's going on in Turkey right now. Turkey's having a lot of issues with NATO. They're buying Russian uranium. They're buying Russian missile systems. They're not allowing Sweden and Norway into NATO in general. And there's an earthquake that hits. And let's see if there's any like weird foundational activities that happen afterwards. Just like what happened with the Clinton Foundation in Haiti. And on top of that, you got Bill Clinton. He's accepting money for, like, if you donated millions of dollars to the Clinton Foundation, then Bill would come to your university and you give a nice little speech to all your students, you know, and then the charity would pay Bill Clinton. So it was a nice little setup to pay off Bill Clinton in the back end. And I have a little video clip here. I don't know if you guys remember Donald Trump.
It's a criminal enterprise.
Talking about the Clinton Foundation during one of the debates for president.
It's a criminal enterprise, and so many people know it. It's a criminal enterprise. Saudi Arabia giving $25 million, Qatar, all of these countries. You talk about women and women's rights. So these are people that push gays off buildings. These are people that kill women and treat women horribly, and yet you take their money. So I'd like to ask you right now, why don't you give back the money that you've taken from certain countries that treat certain groups of people so horribly? Why don't you give back the money? I think it would be a great gesture.
Well,
because she takes a tremendous amount of money, and you take a look at the people of Haiti. I was at a little Haiti the other day in Florida, and I want to tell you, they hate the Clintons because what's happened in Haiti with the Clinton Foundation is a disgrace. And you know it, and they know it, and everybody knows
Secretary
it.
well,
Clinton.
very quickly, we at the Clinton Foundation spend 90% of all the money that is donated on behalf of programs of people around the world and in our own country. I'm very proud of that. We have the highest rating from the watchdogs that follow foundations. And I'd be happy to compare what we do with the Trump Foundation, which took money from other people and bought a 6-foot portrait of Donald. I mean, who does that? It just was astonishing. But
I'd like to compare me wrecking countries to people buying a portrait of Donald. You know, who does such a thing? The crazy egomaniac. It's like, come on, Hillary. What happened to the Clinton Foundation after this? Bye-bye. That was me waving bye-bye at the camera to my podcast audience. Bye-bye. So Donald calmed them out during the presidential debate in 2016 was a very good moment. And these are the moments, you know, these are the moments that made Trump. And they're very few and very far between now. You know, now he's just like kind of shitting on DeSantis now. Like, no, like he's lost track. Like he was full force against the swamp, against the deep state. He was just like flame throwing. Just flame throwing every politician in his tracks in 2016. And I don't know if it was just like the wear and tear of getting impeached a couple times, if he got some threats while he was in office, if you keep going, your family's going to get something coming to it. Like, I don't know if that type of stuff was going on, so he backed off a little bit and changed his narrative. But back when he was like a flame-throwing politicians, that's the Donald Trump we want back. That's the man we love. And if you just admit you were wrong on hey, I was wrong about the J&J. You know, stop pushing it. You didn't save the world, Donald. Yeah, you gave my people myocarditis yourself with Operation Warp Speed. You may have had bad people in your cabinet. You may have gotten bad advice. But that's because he didn't hire Andy Dybala to do the research, man. If you only had a couple of us neighborhood news, couple of us Ospreys in the background just ticking away. Oh yeah, Donald Barr, Deborah Birx, nope. Anthony Fauci, nope. World Health Organization, liars. Pfizer sucks. Fuck Moderna. If only you were listening to us. Moncef Slawe, Dr. Brett Gerard, Michael Callahan. Know what you're getting into, Donald Trump, you know? But let's get back to flamethrowing, Donnie. Hey, Donnie, pick up that torch. All right, I do got one more person that has had some charitable issues recently. That's none other than the newly crowned King of England himself. All hail the King Charles. All hail the Queen, says Queen Elizabeth from the grave. You hear her ringing that bell, you know, like she died during the pandemic. Bing, 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 unbury me. But Charles says, "What's that? I hear nothing." I have no idea what I'm talking about right now. But Prince Charles Charity has been in the news recently. Um, they accepted bags full of dough. You saw Donald Trump claiming the Clintons accepting money from the Saudis. You know how they treat women, blah blah blah, women's rights. And they are like the richest people in the world. There's rumors that like the Saudi families, they don't have to like. I heard this on like Joe Rogan, like they don't have to like keep track of their finances, kind of like we do, because they like are the government. So it doesn't have to be like, oh, what's your tax reports this year? Like they don't care about that. That there's actually like trillionaires in the Saudi families, and yeah, so you saw Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation and Bill accepting money from him. And Prince Charles does the same thing with his charity as well. And what's his charity called? The Prince of Wales Charitable Fund. They've accepted, this is like multiple times he's gotten busted accepting money from them. He actually had to put a stop to it. He had to come out once he was king and say, I will no longer accept bribes from foreign countries. So he's not allowed to like accept charitable donations anymore because he's been busted so many times. So, and here's another one. We got the Saudi families. Prince Charles, once upon a time, I hate these little ads here, accepted $1.2 million from Osama bin Laden's family. So, like the biggest terrorist in the world at one time, took down the Twin Towers. We're supposed to be friends, Prince America and England, we're supposed to be bros, buddy. And you're sitting there accepting money from bin Laden's family. I wonder who paid for his hideout for so long. Charles. There's been a bunch more situations, but yeah, just kind of driving that point home that these charitable organizations, these foundations that are run by these like upper echelon government people, political people, these like business CEOs like Bill Gates and George Soros. Yeah, you got Bill Gates, what's he make a bunch of money on? He for creating the computer chip, like the Intel computer chip or whatever it is, Microsoft. Well, you create a virus for the computer. Everyone's computer gets infected. It can't operate correctly. And what do? You sell the cure. He had a track record of doing this digitally, and now he has a track record of doing it in real life as well. You funded a virus with your Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and all your biomedical vaccine, DNA, RNA research. You're partnering with the DoD, you're partnering with DARPA, you're partnering with foreign countries all around the world for your scientific work. You created a virus, you funded Event 201, the like foundation for like the health community to use on how to like portray like the mask message, portray the vaccine message to the public. That's like what Event 201 about, was like how to display this pandemic to the public eyes and put us in that MK Ultra trance. So Bill Gates, you fund a virus in real life, and what are you doing? You're funding vaccines, you're funding mRNA vax, You're funding like universal vaccines. You're doing all this work in therapeutics. You're trying to find the cure. So you have a track record of doing it digitally and a track record of doing it in real life as well. George Soros, everyone knows his work and his foundation funding Democratic politicians here in the United States. They push the Black Lives Matter narrative. They push the climate change narrative. That's part of Bill Gates' workings also, and it's just a couple more charities to add on to the list and government organizations to keep an eye out for, and just make sure you know where your money's going to, people. I am supposed to be getting into Metabiota now. I don't know if I should. I'm supposed to end the show at an hour. I like promised that. I was like, people get sick of Andy after an hour. But I guess let's do it real quick. I'll bang it out for everyone. How many people we got? All right. We got over 30 people watching live, so I guess I'll succumb to your Friday night feelings. Aren't you guys supposed to be like out partying? You know? Are you guys supposed to be partying? Drinking beer, picking up chicks, picking up dudes, picking up theys, picking up thems, doing whatever you're supposed to be doing instead of watching me. What are you guys doing right now? Don't you guys got lives? Obviously, I don't either. This is like my favorite thing to do. Andy, what do you want to do when you grow up? I want to be a conspiracy theorist on YouTube. That's pretty much me. So I'm living my dream, ladies and gentlemen. I'm hoping you're enjoying watching me live my dream as we go here. All right. As I'm getting ready, I'm going to do a quick Metabiota run through. So everyone knows, I don't know if everyone does know actually, but Metabiota is in the news lately for its work with Hunter Biden, you know, the laptop scandal, the connection with Ukraine and the biolabs and how they were used as a tool, Metabiota, for the pandemic. Now, if Hunter Biden, you know, if a company he's associated with, Metabiota, is being used as a tool for the pandemic, that's a big piece of the pie. Because, ladies and gentlemen, why is Joe Biden in office? I ask you. Mail in ballots. Mail in ballots. And why was mail in ballots even possible? That was because of pandemic. I hope that has like the desired effect I'm going for. It may not at all. So mail-in ballots were possible because of the pandemic, and if like I'm going to showcase that like the WHO, the World Health Organizations, and different health organizations around the world were using Metabiota for the pandemic metadata. So all the like COVID-19 cases, the COVID-19 deaths, of people getting infected per day, per week, in each county, in each state, in the country, in the world. That was all coming from Metabiota, and that's what the World Health Organization was using. So I'm just going to run through a bunch of quick little links right now between Metabiota, our government, the World Health Organization, and so on, just to kind of prove this Hunter Biden laptop scandal correct. You see me itching my nose a lot? That's because of a mustache right there. What are your guys' thoughts on me shaving the beard? I had a discussion before the show about shaving my beard because I am looking scruff. People said it's affecting my credibility. Andy, your beard's affecting your credibility as a journalist. And I was like, I don't know if I am a journalist. But that's what someone told me. So it was just like, I don't know. I'm just having fun being myself, exposing the deep state online. I am going to be getting out and about in the world as it unthaws here in the spring. So you will be seeing me in more places than just this library in my house. So we're going to be moving on. But here we go. The Metabiota, Ukraine, Hunter Biden laptop DoD connection scandal. Anthony Weiner's sister loves my beard. Laura Weiner loves it. Thank you, Laura. Appreciate it. How's George Webb? George Webb is doing great. He's uncovering, he's doing the Project Veritas James O'Keefe story right now. He's proven that Jordan Walker is kind of a patsy being used by Pfizer, a scapegoat being used by them in the public eyes, and it's also like old footage that was used, and there's a lot of things wrong with it. So George, that's what he's getting into, and he's also at the protests right now in Michigan going on at the Pfizer mRNA plant, because the people in Michigan, that's where the show started. I'm in Texas now. I actually consider Texas the Michigan and the South at this point. There's a lot of overlapping things that are like they're almost the exact same. I'm not going to get into that, but that's where George Webb is at. But George, yeah, he's also on Peter Duke's Rumble. If you want to watch him, if you get sick of watching Andy and his beard, and you think I'm not credible, you can go over to Peter Duke and George Webb and watch them duke it out with the deep state. I don't know why he's not using that. Duking it out with the deep state is right there for you, Peter. Just take it and eat it. Should be the name of your show. I'm not saying someone else. You guys can email him. Duking it out with the deep state. It should be the name of your guys' show. So here you got this. Like, there's a lot of question marks surrounding the Hunter Biden laptop, whether the information in it is real or not. Like, there's connections to Ukraine and the biolabs and all the work he was doing undercover over so long, with like pictures of hookers and cocaine and a bunch of that. But Hunter definitely came out and like claimed the laptop was his. So now we know that is like proof of fact at this point. Peter Duke is cool. Whoever said that in the chat. I didn't say it wasn't. Don't be putting words into my mouth. I'm just saying I got a good title for their show. But either way, here's a meeting that took place in February 2015, right before Trump kind of takes office. I guess not right before. It's in the Obama presidency, though. Between the Defense Threat Reduction Agency, a bunch of Ukrainian scientists came over here, and Metabiota. You can see here in the bottom of the picture, meeting with the DTRA and subcontractor of science, Metabiota. So there's just a meeting. I'm not going to dig too far into it, but just a meeting between Metabiota, the DTRA, and Ukrainian science officials about, it says it right there, American side. Oh shit! That must have been the other page, but I guess it's about like microbiology and emerging pathogens. I thought it said emerging disease research meeting. There you go. It did say it on the bottom right there. So they all got together for a meeting about emerging diseases. And, the United States denied the allegations when Russia was going to war with Ukraine. There's no biolabs in Ukraine. It's not true at all. And we've come to find out that is true. And here you have the Ukraine scientists come into the United States to meet with us, and they want to learn some things. So here you have, this is from actual Metabiota's own website. So if they're lying about it, then go blame them. Metabiota gains government momentum with Black and Veatch subcontracts for a DTRA program. So you're getting into more of your pandemic pathogens, emerging pathogens, and pandemic preparedness type research projects. And they're partnering with Black and Veatch. And there's Metabiota and Black and Veatch. They specifically partnered in Ukraine with the biolabs. So what does Metabiota do exactly, you might ask me? And sorry, I'm pulling up the thing they mainly work in is metadata. They take all the snippets of information and they compile it in a way to present to the health officials, present to the public, so they can make informed decisions and how to guide the public in health practices. God damn, I just did that off the top of my head. You should hire me to go work for the goddamn health department. I've done too much research into this shit, and I'm a caveman. If a caveman, if a goofball can find this stuff and uncover what's going on, and that goes to show you that they did need to definitely shadow ban us on Twitter and use the misinformation tactics that they develop. But what does Metabiota do? They compile the metadata. Now here's a big research paper that I found where the World Health Organization, Google, Metabiota, and some other organizations and companies got together to develop this what they call global viral application. And I'm just going to read a couple paragraphs here from the site called Big Data and Biomedical Research. I'll actually share this into the chat right now. People have been complaining, Andy, share the research stuff in the chat. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I shared it in a Rumble too, just to let you Rumble people know. What's up, Rumble people? Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. It's hard to go back and forth, but here we go. Reading from Big Data and Biomedical Research. The World Health Organization, as a United Nations agency, likewise takes an interest in the use of big data for health research, disease monitoring, and prevention, stressing that this development opens up new possibilities and challenges. The WHO's e-health program states, beyond traditional sources of data generated from healthcare and public health activities, we now have the ability to capture data for health through sensors, wearables, and monitors of all kinds. So that's if you're in the hospital and they can capture your individual heartbeats and stuff, and that goes into the metadata application. With regards to big data utilization for public health and humanitarian action, the WHO collaborates closely with the UN Global Pulse Initiative. Now, this World Health Organization and Metabiota, they meet up in the United Nations for this Global Pulse Initiative. So you got Metabiota, Hunter Biota. That should be his name, Hunter Biota. It was right there the whole time, Hunter Biota. I'm just going to read. That makes the connections right there. Global Pulse's main objectives are the promotion and practical exploration of big data use for humanitarian action and developments, notably through public-private partnerships. Pfizer, Moderna, Metabiota, UN, World Health Organization, CDC, they're all collaborating. It is organized as a network of so-called innovation labs with a headquarters in New York and 2 centers in Jakarta and Kampala. These labs develop big data-driven research projects, applications, and platforms which are closely connected to local communities in the respective area and country. Among other factors, Global Pulse was inspired by NGO research initiatives such as Global Viral, which is linked to the commercial epidemic risk analytics services offered by Metabiota. Now, Global Viral is a sister company of, I'm not going to share like the documents, but just take my word for it because I'm running short of time. Global Viral, it's your own show, Andy. You got all night. What time limit? People get drained from Andy. But Global Viral is a sister company of Metabiota, and Nathan Wolf, who is the CEO of Metabiota, also runs Global Viral. It's like the sister nonprofit that's not supposed to make money, and it's for like monitoring epidemics and monitoring pandemics. That is what they do, and that is what this Global Pulse initiative is. And I have an actual video from UN's YouTube channel. Here you go.
The spread of COVID-19 has presented many challenges to healthcare systems worldwide. In settlements for refugees and internally displaced persons, which often suffer from overcrowding, insufficient sanitation, and particularly rapid disease spread, the pandemic presents a significant threat, as will any future health crises. In a concerted effort, health professionals, data scientists, and researchers across the UN and academia joined forces to apply epidemic modeling in the fight against COVID-19. Together, they created an agent-based model to simulate the spread of the virus in the Cox's Bazar settlement in Bangladesh for a variety of different scenarios. Imagine creating a virtual world that mimics the way people move and what they do throughout the day to understand how a virus can spread. The team designed a 3-step process. First, create a digital twin of the settlement, including the locations where people might interact, like gathering spots, water pumps, and food distribution centers. Second, simulate the movement of individuals, their daily routine, and how they interact. Third, model the effect.
So that's like, I don't know if you remember, like if you went, this is why, like you had to report, like if you had COVID-19 or if you got sick, where did you go and visit? And be like, oh, I went to my grandma's house, I went to the grocery store, I went to the church, blah, blah, blah. And then the next person had COVID-19. Where did you visit? Oh, I went to the gym, I went to the grocery store too. So that becomes like a common link. This is all reported through, this is Metabiota's project. I went to the grocery store, so you got a link there. I went to my sister's, and then I went to the movie theater. And then, like, you guys are getting the point. They compile all these like data perspectives, and this is what this little map is. And they can like follow each people's movements. And this is why you might have got a letter in the mail to stay home because your cousin came over your house, or you went to the grocery store or whatever. And this is what all of us like freedom-loving patriots are afraid of, is this like big data, metadata surveillance projects that are monitoring all of our movements. And they use like the guise of health to implement these programs, because us as humans easily fall for it. We're like, I don't want to die. I don't want to sit there in a hospital. So they can push these health projects on us, these surveillance projects on us as health projects. And this is how they just sneak it all in there under the rug, just like they do in these big omnibus bills. You got to pay for your health care. You got to pay for old people. You got to Social Security. You got to pay for like schools and roads and like new bridges and stuff. And then they sneak in like BLM, agenda stuff and climate action agenda programs, and those all get millions of dollars. It's like the same kind of concept here, but for health.
How they interact. Third, model the effects of different public health interventions against COVID-19. For example, how effective is mask wearing in particular locations in the Cox's Bazar settlement? In nearly every scenario modeled, wearing a mask reduced the spread of the disease, and the results allowed policymakers to understand the trade-offs between investing in more effective masks and encouraging more people to wear masks. Combining innovation, technology, and multidisciplinary expertise, we can better determine the most effective public health interventions and mitigation measures against this pandemic, as well as the best ways to respond to future health and humanitarian emergencies.
So you get the point. That's pretty much what Metabiota does. Is they take all the little little data points, and they create this like map for health officials to follow. And they also have what they call, I'm going to show you real quick, this epidemic tracker. Now, you've seen the maps on the CDC. It's like a world map, and you can click on the country, and it tells you like so many COVID cases. It takes like flu, it does Ebola, HIV, like all the different diseases. It's like a big giant, just like epidemic tracker for like the World Health Organization to follow. And this is all like created by Metabiota. So you Metabiota's epidemic tracker. It's just epidemictracker.com for all of you guys that like want to know. So you click on it, and it takes you to the map. And the connection I'm trying to show you here is between Hunter Biden, the Biden administration, the guy running for president, him needing mail-in ballots, which was pushed because of coronavirus. And all the public health experts are using the data supplied by Hunter Biden's like company, Metabiota. So they're using that data supplied by Metabiota to determine the future of our public health agenda. Wearing masks, getting vaccines, shutting down society, all these companies forcing employees. I just showed you the NFL forcing employees, and hospitals forcing their nurses to get the vaccine. It's all like part of the process. And Metabiota was a huge integral role in the data side of things, and the CDC and the WHO, and they were all using Metabiota's data. So it's almost like the Biden administration was in control of like the SARS-CoV-2, not the Biden, but the deep state. You get what I'm saying. It's not the Bidens. They're too dumb. But the deep state, they're not dumb, actually. They're smart, but I don't think they got the power to do this. So it's people above them. So the deep state are using the Biden administration. They got their hands in Metabiota to get him in the presidency, because they're the ones that are in control of all the public health information. And this is just a couple of examples here. I'll show you going back and forth between the Metabiota map here and the WHO map. So here, I'll click on the United States. So look at the numbers. Total reported cases, 101 million. Total reported deaths, 1.1 million. And so you go here to the WHO map now. Sorry, I gotta share screens. And it's click on the United States. What are the numbers? Oop, I didn't want to. Apparently, all you do is gotta hover on the United States. 101, 211, 478 confirmed cases. 1.1 million deaths. Literally the same exact numbers. Now, I'm not going to do this for every state and country, but I did go through all of them. Not all of them, but like a lot of the big ones here, and all of the numbers are the same between Metabiota and the World Health Organization's epidemic trackers. So it's like for sure Metabiota is supplying the world with like their health information. Then you got all your health experts just telling us what to do based off what Metabiota does. And that's why, in my opinion, we got the COVID-19 lockdowns. You get the mail-in ballots put in place, and then Joe Biden gets a record number of mail-in ballot votes, and all of a sudden he's president and in control of things. So Metabiota is like a key to this whole process. So it is kind of big that he admitted that the laptop was his. Now here's just a couple other links I'm going to go through real quick before I go. Metabiota focuses on global expansions with addition of 3 hires to executive team. And now for those of you in the know, you guys see this name right here, Andrew Weber. So Metabiota hired an ex-Obama official as head of global partnerships along with Michael Bell. So this Andrew Bell, in my opinion, is just as collaborative in these efforts with Hunter Biden as like the rest of them. If that makes sense at all. I don't even know if that was English, but Andrew Weber is a name that definitely needs to be looked at. And here's just for you guys who don't know, here's him
in Kiev,
TED
Ukraine.
Talk. He's talking about this. Here's a picture of him like holding a vial of anthrax with Obama, and he actually talks about it during his TED Talk.
Here I am in Kiev, Ukraine, with a brand new junior senator.
So remember in the offset at the beginning of the war, like they're denying like any involvement with Ukraine biolabs. So here you have Andrew Weber admitting that he's with Obama. This is when Obama was a senator, that him and Obama are in Ukraine, in Ukrainian biolabs.
In Kiev, Ukraine, with a brand new junior senator from Illinois. It's at a public health laboratory, and he looks concerned. And it's because from this kitchen-like refrigerator behind me, the director of the health lab handed me this tray with vials of Bacillus anthracis. That's the bacteria that causes anthrax. And we mapped many facilities like this throughout the Soviet Union. We were concerned that groups like Al-Qaeda and later ISIS could get their hands on these seed materials, starter cultures, to develop biological weapons for terrorist attacks. And we had a big program to consolidate.
So we had to set up secret United States. I'll finish what he was going to say. So we had to set up secret United States funded Department of Defense labs within Ukraine so we can monitor the situation and to know exactly what was going on. And we could perform emerging pathogen reverse engineering research under the nose of bureaucratic red tape in America over in a different country, so no one knows what's really going on. Rambling man. I'm a rambling man. So you got the Obama. Andrew Weber was the Assistant Secretary of Defense. I don't know if you guys know this at all, but in the Obama administration, so that's why he's there with Obama in Ukraine, in Kiev, holding a bottle of anthrax, admittedly there himself. Now, I spoke about Nathan Wolf, the CEO of Metabiota, and his global viral project, and here he is. I don't know. Just prove. I'm just kind of want to prove the fact that he worked for Metabiota, and I'm going to make one little quick link between someone very famous and popular in the news between Nathan Wolfe and Metabiota. So virus hunter Nathan Wolfe tells the good, the bad, and the ugly of microbes. He gets into SARS, blah, blah, blah. But here in this article, he went to school at Harvard. He's a teacher, and he's a founder and CEO of Metabiota. And he talks about the power of viruses, and he gets into reverse genetics and reverse engineering viruses, which is exactly what Ralph Barrick did in North Carolina, in coordination with the Wuhan lab and the Shizhen Li bat lady. They reverse engineered the SARS-CoV virus, the SARS-CoV-2 virus, the one you are seeing today. That was all done in a lab synthetically, and you have Nathan Wolfe, the CEO of Metabiota, talking about. Now that's not the connection I'm going to make. Here is the connection I am going to make that you guys might enjoy. I'm sure some of you guys know this, but Metabiota's CEO actually partnered. You see all that what they do. They create this like metadata map for you to follow. So Ghislaine Maxwell's like baby was this Terramar project, and she wanted to like map ocean currents and ocean flows and all sorts of things for like this climate change initiative. And like Metabiota's like what they do with the metadata mapping could be of big use to the Terramar project and mapping the oceans as well. So they were working together on the Terramar project. Here's like a picture. It was also in coordination with Google and the United Nations. And everyone knows, I'm sure you guys know that Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein were the one that were like on the island, getting underage girls hired for sex trafficking so they could blackmail politicians around the world. So you got the CEO of Metabiota, Hunter Biota, connected with Ghislaine Maxwell, connected with Jeffrey Epstein, and the Terramar project. So my voice is getting tired. I do hope you guys, I hope you're not tired of my voice. I hope you're enjoying these shows. I'm going to be doing them every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. That's right here on YouTube. I got two different channels, Andy Dybala and Andy Dybala's clone, because I get suspended and banned and taken down. So I have to have two channels at all times. I'm broadcasting to both of them currently. I also am on Twitter. I live stream on Twitter as well. Go follow me at LivewithAndy on Twitter. I post a lot of my research, the little ins and outs of what I'm doing on the show here throughout the week. You can follow on Rumble right now. I believe I'm Andy Dybala show, or Live Andy Dybala. Andy Dybala Live. Andy Dybala Live on Rumble. Give me a follow on Rumble. And I'm on Facebook. It's still Neighborhood News Studio on Facebook. So if you're a boomer over there on Facebook, make sure you go give Neighborhood News Studio a follow. And I'm also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other ones, all the other audio apps as well. So go spread the love, ladies and gentlemen, and make sure you're rooting for Patrick. I'm in Patrick Mahomes, where he played college ball at in Lubbock, Texas right now. So make sure you're rooting for the Chiefs. And if you got some money, 30 to 28 Chiefs, bet the over. And I believe you would take the Eagles on the spread. I think it's like 3 right now, or 3.5. Can't remember correctly. The line changes so much. But straight up, Chiefs, Eagles, if you're betting, take the points. If not, bet the over for the trifecta. Love you guys. Thank you for tuning in one more time. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. It's an honor. Sir is talking again. It is truly an honor that you guys take time out of your day, time out of your night. You tell your family, hey, I'm going to watch Andy. You can go watch America's Got Talent in the other room. The big guy is on, and he's dropping knowledge. I appreciate your time and your eyes and your ears, and I hope you guys learned something throughout this process. I know I'm not the most intelligent person in the world, and I stumble sometimes when I talk, but doesn't that just make me more relatable? I'm a human. I'm not an Adderall popping, fast talking, facts spitting person. No, I'm Andy. You get what you pay for, and you guys don't pay anything. So quit complaining out there, or I'm going to send someone to break your goddamn legs. All right, everyone. Have a good ramblings of a crazy man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a great weekend. Love you show.